The armory explosion rips through the sky in a blinding flash. For a moment, everyone watching believes it's over. As expected of Li Roshu, even from that distance, the rocket hit dead on. The chat exploded with disbelief. Changshu and his men never saw it coming. They'd become bait without even realizing it. Speculation runs wild in the live chat. With Changshu presumed dead, spectators assume Black Rose has all but won. Only Chen Yuxuan remains, and even she, despite her T-virus-enhanced power, shouldn't be able to stand against them now. Is this it? Are they finishing off the final boss for good? But the tyrant isn't finished. After lying convulsing on the ground for a long moment, it drags itself back up, and it's changed. Its body has absorbed the explosion's raw energy, swelling until it now stands as tall as a building. The chat floods with panicked disbelief. How do you kill something that only grows stronger from the attacks meant to destroy it? Without hesitation, the tyrant locks its remaining senses onto Li Roshu, perched high on a nearby rooftop. Slowly, terrifyingly, it turns and begins crawling straight toward her. Meanwhile, far away in Deep Sea Town, Jiang Tinghix stares at his match rewards, snacks and treats from the settlement, lost in thought. He can't stop thinking about what he just witnessed. What kind of luck did Tide Town have, landing a lord this powerful? He aches with regret, realizing his one-time access link to the Resident Evil dungeon has already expired. There's no way back in, not unless Tide Town itself invites him again. Back in his own territory, Changshu sits pale and hollow, watching his reputation collapse in real time. The internet has turned on him completely. Mockery, ridicule, worse than even the rival Yunxiao team ever faced. Humiliated beyond repair, Chang Wenhao makes the call to disband the entire strategy group on the spot. When a teammate tries to comfort him, he simply shoves him aside and storms off to sulk alone. Even though the match between adventurers has technically ended, the real fight is only beginning, because Li Roshu failed to finish off Chen Yuxuan, and everyone now realizes the true final battle is human against monster. All eyes shift to Li Roshu as she becomes the last hope for taking down the tyrant's terrifying third form. The tyrant's massive body writhes through the ruined city like a vengeful god delivering judgment. It looks slow, but each shift of its bulk devours entire city blocks in seconds, faster than its second form ever was. In moments, it reaches the tower where Li Roshu stands, and its tentacles crash down like iron hammers, collapsing the entire building beneath her. Amid the falling debris, Li Roshu doesn't fall with it. Her grappling hook is already locked onto the next building over. The zipline yanks her free just before the wreckage swallows the spot she stood on. She lands, quickly cuts down a few stray zombies, then turns back to study the colossal creature bearing down on her. If even an armory explosion couldn't kill it, what could? That's when she realizes the horrifying truth. Every explosion only makes it stronger. The tyrant is literally absorbing the blast energy and growing from it. With no time to think, she's forced into a desperate game of cat and mouse, zipping from building to building as the monster tears through the skyline behind her. Watching from below, the crowd is absolutely electrified. This isn't just survival, it's artistry. Chen Yu himself can't help but blurt out, "Holy crap! Spider-Man!" Chen Yu watches Li Roshu weaving across the skyline and can't help but grin. If she had a costume, she'd be a dead ringer for Spider-Man. Or maybe he should just rig her up with a full 3D maneuver gear setup instead. Either way, this improvised, breathless dance for survival with the tyrant looming behind her makes for one hell of a show. But running isn't a plan. It's just delaying the inevitable. Li Roshu makes a decision. Lure the tyrant straight into a gas station. A single well-placed pistol shot detonates the entire structure in a wall of fire. The explosion should have been devastating. Instead, the tyrant simply absorbs the flames and grows even larger. Completely unfazed, Li Roshu is out of easy options. She scrambles to the top of a nearby high-rise, scanning the ruined city for anything Chen Yu might have left behind as a way to kill this thing. She's certain there has to be something. She just hasn't found it yet. Just as the tyrant finishes absorbing the blast and turns to resume its pursuit, the sound of rotor blades cuts through the chaos. a helicopter swings into view, piloted by Chu Huairu. No time to explain. Get on! Without hesitation, Li Roshu leaps for the rope ladder as the chopper rockets skyward, narrowly clearing the building before the tyrant's tentacles can reach her. Inside the cabin, Chen Yuxuan braces an oversized sniper rifle, an 8-times scope trained on the tyrant's tiny eye. Its one true weak point, the same rifle she and Chu Huairu recovered earlier from the city's iconic twin towers. "Go to hell, you ugly thing!" she fires. The recoil rocks the entire helicopter, but the shot lands true, punching straight through the eye in a burst of blood mist. Inside the cabin, Chen Yuxuan braces an oversized sniper rifle, an 8-times scope trained on the tyrant's tiny eye. Its one true weak point, the same rifle she and Chu Huairu recovered earlier from the city's iconic twin towers. "Go to hell, you ugly thing!" she fires. The recoil rocks the entire helicopter, but the shot lands true, punching straight through the eye in a burst of blood mist. Chu Huairu banks hard, yanking the helicopter out of range just as a tentacle whips through the air where they'd been seconds before. Chen Yuxuan curses under her breath and lines up another shot, but this time the tyrant is ready. A sacrificial tentacle intercepts the bullet before it can reach the eye, exploding into gore. More tentacles immediately rise to shield the weak point. There's no clean shot left to take. Dangling from the rope ladder, Li Roshu scans the city below, searching for something, anything, unusual. A central square? No. A stadium? No use. A secret research base? Maybe, but too complicated. Then her eyes land on it. A sprawling industrial park, lined with massive canisters marked chlorine and stamped with hazard warnings. "Captain Chemical Plant, 3 o'clock. Chu Huairu banks the helicopter without hesitation. The tyrant follows, relentless, smashing straight through a bridge as it crosses the river in pursuit. Chen Yuxuan hesitates. "Roshu, are you sure this place can even be detonated?" Li Roshu doesn't blink. "Who cares? We've got bombs on this helicopter. We'll find out." Watching from his territory, Chen Yu smiles. Of all the options laid out in his city, from laser cannons to missile silos to a nuclear reactor, she picked the simplest, most brutal solution. Raw chemical firepower, enough to unleash roughly 2,000 tons of TNT. The helicopter hovers directly above the plant as the tyrant finally crawls into range. Li Roshu and Chen Yuxuan drop bomb after bomb, each drifting down on its own tiny parachute, landing precisely on the most volatile tanks in the complex. The moment the last bomb lands, the helicopter peels away at full speed. The tyrant close behind, deep inside the kill zone. Then the first booms hit. Then more. Then all of them at once, merging into a single blinding wall of white light that swallows the entire plant. Li Roshu never saw what happened next. In her final flash of consciousness, a beam of light, blinding, sun-like, erupts from the chemical plant below. A violent heat wave slams into the helicopter, melting its wings instantly. Even enhanced by the T-virus, no human body can survive temperatures in the thousands of degrees. All 3 women lose consciousness in an instant. Only the spectators, and Chen Yu, watching from his own territory, witness what happens next. A massive mushroom cloud rising over the ruined city, swallowing it whole. The live stream falls completely silent. No jokes, no trash talk. Just stunned disbelief as adventurers try to process what they've just seen. Is this really what a chemical plant explosion can do? Did they just erase the entire city? The shock turns into something deeper, a dawning realization. This isn't magic. This is technology, something none of them have ever truly witnessed before. And if it can outmatch even the deadliest forbidden spells in existence, what does that mean for the world they thought they understood? Back in his territory, Chen Yu is having the opposite reaction. A notification flashes. A perfect kill on the tyrant has dropped an excellent grade monster card. A reward so absurdly rare that the odds were roughly 0.02%, even with every advantage stacked in his favor. He can hardly believe his luck. This single card is powerful enough to effortlessly conquer the Goblin Kingdom on its own. He realizes the system rewarded him specifically for playing it right, turning the tyrant into a genuine challenge instead of exploiting a cheap instant kill weapon, which would have guaranteed a zero-drop chance. In the aftermath, Tide Town goes completely mad for Resident Evil. Everyone wants in. Everyone imagines themselves as the next Li Roshu or Chimao Song, gracefully dominating the apocalypse in style. Reality hits fast and hard. Wave after wave of eager adventurers get torn apart in beginner mode, mauled by basic zombies, run down by zombie dogs, or caught completely off guard by thawing lickers. Following a strategy guide doesn't save you if your reflexes can't keep up. Even players with serious resources struggle. One, Bai Fei Fei, freezes up in fear every time a zombie lunges at her, essentially giving up mid-fight. It becomes painfully clear Resident Evil's brutal, skill-based difficulty is exactly what makes it so addictive to watch and so punishing to actually play. Fresh off watching the pros dominate, cocky veteran players flood the chat with confidence. Tank? Got it. Gas station? Easy. Police station? Please. One by one, they brag they can solo the entire tyrant fight themselves. No big deal, right? Reality disagrees immediately. The team that gets the tank can't even drive straight. Forward no, left. Do you even know how to steer this thing? Someone spins the cannon a full 360 degrees instead of the requested 30. Loading shells turns into a comedy of errors. Over at the Hive laboratory, the geniuses are stumped by a basic keypad. Can anyone tell me what 1 + 1 equals? One suggests plugging in a power cable. Another spots a minesweeper puzzle and spends half an hour just trying to figure out if it's even the password. Inspired by Chimao Song's legendary zipline stunt, dozens of adventurers line up to try the same aerial escape. It does not go well. Ziplines miss their targets entirely. People crash face first into walls. One poor soul flies clean into the wrong building and dies on impact. Over and over again, it becomes less epic escape and more cue to jump off a roof. One overconfident adventurer decides to skip the middleman and just blow up the chemical plant himself, shouting something about art being an explosion. He doesn't even make it past the front gate. The elite zombies guarding the facility tear him apart before he gets close. It turns out Chen Yu never intended for these high-value areas to be easy. The chemical plant alone can devastate a 100-kilometer radius if detonated, so naturally it's guarded by some of the toughest zombies in the entire dungeon. No cheap grenades or RPGs are getting the job done here. Without a helicopter and real airdropped bombs, it simply won't ignite. Even reaching a helicopter is its own nightmare. The Twin Towers are packed floor after floor with zombies, the stairwells littered with the bodies of adventurers who never made it up. Compared to the desperate struggle of normal mode players, though, these thrill-seekers are still having more fun. At least they get to attempt something spectacular before dying. Down in ordinary difficulty, there's no glory at all, just endless grinding survival. Even knowing exactly where the good weapons are hidden doesn't help, since reaching them means fighting through zombies far above their skill level. The excitement from watching the pro match curdles fast into groans of frustration. Lord Chen, please, I want to get stronger. Sensing the demand, Chen Yu delivers. An announcement drops. A full equipment, talent, and skin system is coming to Resident Evil's normal mode, all built around a new currency, soul crystals, earnable for free through gameplay, or purchased instantly using real money Joy-Coins. The players go wild with gratitude, completely unaware they're the ones funding the entire system. Only 200 Joy-Coins for a Desert Eagle? What a generous lord. I'll follow Lord Chen to the death. Little do they know, the real winner in all this excitement is Chen Yu himself, watching his cash cow grow bigger by the second. No one seems bothered by the pay-to-win system Chen Yu just introduced. A few voices grumble, but loyal fans drown them out fast. In the end, only one thing matters: profit. Even losing 5 lives a day in Happy Chesan cards doesn't sting when players walk away with enough food to survive comfortably, sometimes with surplus to spare. No other dungeon offers that kind of return. The real shift comes when Happy Coins get tied to real-world currency. The exchange rate climbs to 1 to 2, 1 Happy Coin now worth 2 yuan. Longtime holders like Bai Feifei, Lin Chaoxiao, Li Ruopu, and Wu Yue watch their savings double overnight. What started as a fun card game for the food rewards suddenly becomes something much bigger. The more joy coins get poured into Resident Evil's cash shop, the more valuable happy coins become in return, a self-feeding cycle of hype and greed. Trading chatter floods the channels. 1-to-1, 0.98, buying 10,000 happy coins. Selling in bulk at 2.01. Dear me. Some are just eager players stockpiling currency ahead of the new purchase system. Others are opportunists, buying low, selling high, treating the whole economy like a stock market. Chen Yu watches it all unfold with quiet amusement. It reminds him of merchant behavior from games he once knew. For now, he lets it ride. The trading frenzy only fuels more buzz around his territory, though he makes a mental note to add a transaction fee later. Great Xia Never Sleeps City has never been more popular. But while adventurers obsess over their Joy-Coin portfolios, a very different storm is brewing, inside the Adventurers Guild itself. The Elder Council, many of them arriving late and out of the loop, corners Guild President Li Yunke. You've unilaterally allocated resources without consulting us, for some no-name lord with zero connections. The old guard is furious, certain this was a wasted effort from the start. Li Yunke doesn't argue. She simply has the match footage queued up. Please, before you're angry, just watch. The video begins innocently enough. Two narrators, cheerful and casual, introducing the competition. The elders watch with clear disdain, until the camera pulls back to reveal Raccoon City in full. The scale of it stuns them into silence. A colossal steel city, unlike anything they've ever seen. Dense, foreboding, alive with impending doom. The disdain on their faces begins to crack. The first sign that everything they assumed about this worthless new lord is about to be proven wrong. The elders stare at the screen, stunned into silence. This is a city? One mutters that it's bigger than urban areas he's actually visited in real life. Every detail feels deliberate. Nothing recycled, nothing copy-pasted. For men who've spent lifetimes watching lords phone in their designs, forests built from 3-tree models, plains that are just flat grass with decoration, this is unprecedented. An entire city, this richly detailed, feels genuinely impossible. One elder can't stay seated. He rises, pointing with a trembling hand at the screen. This is your competition arena? Li Yunke simply nods. He has no words left to describe it. Then the first zombie lunges into frame. The old men flinch, until the professional players on screen cut it down without hesitation. What is that thing? A rotting corpse? A skeleton? Li Yunque explains calmly. This is a zombie, spreading through infection, not sorcery. 1 becomes 10, 10 becomes 100. Satisfied it's just a horror-themed dungeon, the elders settle back into their seats, nodding along. Impressive, sure. Top tier even. But nothing beyond their understanding, yet. Then the guns start firing. The tank rolls in. A licker, a smoker, a tanked zombie, a bloated horror the size of a truck. All appear back to back. The old men can't sit still anymore. Lee, I've never seen these monsters before. Did that lord create every one of them? Li Yunke confirms it, standing a little taller. Every creature is completely original. When 4 rockets streak across the screen simultaneously, jaws drop. This is magic, some kind of high-level spell that doesn't even need chanting. They theorize the tank must be an alchemist's vehicle, some fusion of magic and engineering. Li Yunke corrects them, twice, deadpan. This is not magic. They don't believe her. She lets the footage keep talking instead. Grenades, flashbangs. A Gatling gun tearing through the horde. Then Qimao Song's death-defying zipline leap off a skyscraper, timed perfectly as the tyrant crashes down after him. The elders hold their breath through the whole sequence. The tyrant's second form appears, and their nodding turns to genuine unease. Then Qimao Song lures it into a gas station explosion. Then Wu Yue rams a burning oil tanker straight into it, triggering a small mushroom cloud. A forbidden spell, cast through some kind of physical substance. They're stunned it could even work, let alone that a single lord dreamed all of this up. But nothing prepares them for the third form. effortlessly ripping a tank apart, shrugging off wave after wave of impossible magic, casually leveling a police station. And when it turns its full expanded fury on Li Roshu, demolishing building after building in relentless pursuit, the old men go completely blank, their earlier composure replaced by pure, chilled disbelief. A long, heavy silence hangs over the room. Realizing he's let his composure slip, the elder in the head seat clears his throat and quickly tries to recover. That young girl, remarkably calm under pressure, reminds me of myself back in my prime. The other elders immediately fall in line, showering him with over-the-top praise about his legendary youth. A performance Li Yunke can barely stomach without rolling her eyes. One elder notices something. "Little Li, isn't that girl your daughter?" Li Yunque confirms it. Instantly, their tone shifts to genuine admiration, praising the Li family bloodline, calling Li Ruoshu's future promising, even suggesting she could represent other cities one day. Then the video reaches its climax, the chemical plant detonation, a mushroom cloud swallowing the skyline. Several elders rise from their seats without realizing it, hands braced on the table, completely floored. This has to be divine power. Only the gods could cause destruction like this. They stare, shaken, utterly convinced they've just witnessed something beyond mortal magic. Li Yunque lets the moment breathe before finally correcting them. "Seniors, this isn't magic. It's something called technology." The word lands like a foreign object in the room. The Lord even has a name for it. Future technology. The elders sit with the revelation, struggling to process it. Then, predictably, old Liu pivots straight into self-congratulation. "Xiao Li, excellent work. With a world like this, Tide Town is a shoo-in for excellent town status again." The others pile on, crediting old Liu's guidance for a discovery he had nothing to do with. Li Yunque lets them have their moment. She knows exactly how much these old men's stagnant leadership is the real reason Tide Town fell from grace in the first place. Once the flattery dies down, she drops the real reason she called this meeting. The Lord agreed to host this competition, but only under certain conditions. The first condition, a permanent featured spot on the Guild's homepage, draws grumbling but reluctant approval. The second, full ownership of the match, including the right to pull out at any time, sends old Liu into a rage. "Absolutely not. Who does this dungeon lord think he is?" Calm and unbothered, Li Yunque simply offers to walk away from the deal entirely, prompting old Liu to reluctantly concede. For now. As the elders storm off, visibly displeased, Li Yunque sees straight through old Liu's real motive. He plans to ride out the excellent town selection, retire back to the city with the credit, and leave the political fallout for someone else to clean up. Alone at the table, she taps her fingers against the wood, uneasy. She can already see the trouble coming, but for now, she has no clear way to stop it. Old Liu doesn't care what happens to Tide Town after he leaves. He was only ever sent here as a punishment posting, and he's counting the days until he can retire back to the city. That kind of indifference is exactly what worries Li Yunque. She knows how the game is played. When prosperity threatens the old guard's grip on power, they don't celebrate it. They try to strangle it. Her only real countermove is to beat old Liu to the punch, retiring with merit first so she can claim a permanent seat among the council elders before he can undermine everything. But retiring with honors is only half the plan. She needs someone loyal in the president's chair after she steps down. Someone who'll actually protect what's been built here. Her mind goes straight to her daughter, Li Roshu, someone who actually loves this town, unlike old Liu, who was practically exiled here. Determined, Li Yunque goes to find her, only to discover Li Roshu is nowhere to be found. She's vanished entirely. The reason becomes clear. Li Roshu has received a contract offer, sent directly from Chen Yu, lord of the great Xia, never-sleeping city. The terms are serious, bound to the territory for life, immortal as long as the Guardian Stone stands, but doomed if it falls. She barely hesitates before accepting. In a flash of white light, she opens her eyes in front of the castle, noticeably upgraded since her last visit. Chen Yu's cut of the Resident Evil hype and the soaring Joy-Coin economy have paid off in a big way, funding a fresh Level 3 upgrade across the entire territory. Chimaosong is already there, having accepted the same offer. Li Ruoshu notices something odd. Chen Yu's territory level should allow for more contracted adventurers than just the two of them. Chen Yu explains, he's making them each lord of their own castle. Li Ruoshu will run Happy Chess and Cards, Chimaosong will run Resident Evil, with full freedom to build their own teams. It's a practical move as much as a generous one. Chen Yu has no interest in micromanaging every detail. And giving his two strongest players ownership over their own turf means less infighting and more stability down the line. Li Ruoshu wastes no time bringing in her old Black Rose teammates, who accept almost instantly, partly out of loyalty to her, and partly drawn by the tantalizing promise that if this territory survives for centuries, they might get to live for centuries too, just like the legendary immortal adventurers said to serve the oldest, most powerful dungeon lords. With only 2 contract slots left, the group has to decide who goes first. After some hesitant back and forth, nobody wanting to volunteer, Zhang Chia too shy to go first, the choice finally lands. Chu Ruoxue and Chen Yushuan step forward and appear in the territory. Chen Yushuan once belonged to Black Rose, and the bond ran deep before she stormed off in anger. But today, fighting side by side with Li Ruoshu against the tyrant's brutal third form, all that old resentment finally melts away. The girls don't waste the opportunity. After a quick discussion, they unanimously agree, bring her back into the fold, permanently. Chen Yushuan doesn't hesitate for even a moment before accepting. The 2 new arrivals step into the territory. Chu Ruoxue is quiet, gentle, keeping mostly to herself. Chen Yushuan is the opposite. She strolls in, taking it all in, then turns to Chen Yu with a smirk. "My lord, why is it all girls here? So which concubine am I supposed to be?" Chen Yu flushes red, insisting it's strictly a boss-employee relationship. To be fair, it's not a great look. Happy Chess and Cards staffed entirely by attractive women, and now Black Rose's roster joining too. Waking up surrounded by beautiful women every day is, apparently, exhausting. Meanwhile, over in the Resident Evil territory, Chimaosong makes his own picks. First is Wu Yue, his close teammate from the competition, an easy choice given their bond. The second name surprises even Chen Yu, Chu Yunqiao, captain of a rival strategy team Chimaosong had personally wiped out during the match. Rather than holding a grudge, Chu Yunqiao takes the loss in stride. Just a hard lesson in an esports match, nothing personal. His own strategy group had been struggling for years against the Big Three, and this defeat only confirmed what he already suspected. Over drinks with Chimaosong, he makes the call without hesitation. Disband the team and join the Dark World instead, where his talents might finally be put to real use. One by one, Tide Town's strategy groups collapse. Changshu's team dissolves in public disgrace. Yun Xiao shuts down voluntarily. With Black Rose and Jushuan's top talents both defecting to Chen Yu's territory, only the Win team is left standing in the entire town. Though, as always, new challengers will eventually rise to fill the gap. With all 6 adventurers finally gathered, Chen Yu uses his stockpiled magic crystals to boost the whole group from level 1 to level 4 in one go. Resources left over from his earlier conquest of a rival lord's territory, more than enough to spare. Li Ruoshu gets special treatment, receiving the rare wind attribute crystal Chen Yu had been saving. Her stats jump dramatically, and Chen Yu discovers something remarkable. She possesses 2 full-class skill trees simultaneously, swordsman and ranger, a trait so rare it delights him instantly. Skill books to unlock her double set of talents are nowhere to be found yet, but with the territory's sole crystal income about to surge again, money is quickly becoming the least of his problems. Stepping back to survey everything he's built, Chen Yu reviews the full state of his growing empire. 2 Tier 3 territories, 6 newly leveled adventurers, dozens of citizens, and 2 massive fully operational dungeon complexes, Happy Chess and Cards and Resident Evil, cementing his rapid transformation from an unknown new lord into a serious rising power.